One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is using their 401k as a piggy bank. Building up my own 401k was one of the main reasons I was able to cross $800,000 in net worth after paying off $43,000 worth of debt. So today, let's react to some viral TikTok videos and see how everyday people are using their 401ks, from the financial disasters to maybe things that you could convince me make sense to do.
If I can give you one piece of advice, is take money out of your 401k. We're not going to live to see 50. The world is already showing signs that the tribulation years are coming. And one thing that I'm going to do for certain is take money out of my 401k. Because life is too expensive right now to be trying to have a little piggy bank. If we do get to 50, we will cross that bridge when we get there. But right now, we're in the present, and right now matters. Take your money out.
That caught me off guard there at the end. Well, spooked me a little bit. Yeah, this is a common thought that I see a lot with like younger people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, where they're like, "Oh, I'm kicking the can down the road. I don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone in the next 10 years." Let me actually do a quick little Google search here. Percentage of people who think they are ready for retirement in the United States. So basically, only 45% of Americans feel financially prepared for retirement, while roughly 46% do not expect to be financially ready. And a large majority of working adults, 64%, no longer view retiring at age 65 as realistic. So 2/3 of whoever did this poll don't think that they're going to retire at the retirement age of 65, whatever. And so it's with this mindset that girl had of like, if we even make it to 50, what are we talking about here? She was like 30. Like, what are we talking? Of course, tomorrow's not guaranteed, but like, we're talking about 50. This is like, we're living in 2026. Modern medicine, right? Like, again, it's not guaranteed, but like, that mindset is what is keeping us in the moment. And retiring, putting money aside, however you want to do it, in a 401k, a Roth IRA, a brokerage account, HSA, there's all these different, whatever. Planning for your future is the highest leverage thing that you can do for you. Decade from now, you will thank you so much for taking the time, money, effort, sacrifice to do these things, to have, not struggle today, but not like live your life 100% today. That's what I'm seeing a lot in these videos. It's like they want to just live now in the moment, which again, it's fine. If that's what you want to do, then that is great. But for me, there's a clear system of having a balance of what you want to do now, today, and start planning for your future. So how my wife and I did this when we paid off the $43,000 in 13 months, and now we built up our net worth, there's this 3-step process that I'll walk through very quickly. Whenever we're not sure like what's going on in our finances, we do a 3-month look back where we look at 90 days of where we spent our money, categorize everything. We haven't done this in a while because we track consistently now, but we look where all it's going, put, the statements and the whatever into AI. It's going to spit out a nice table, show us by category how much in total we've been spending. Then we write down a list. I call these the North Star Goals list. It's a list of 2, 5, 10 things. And these are things that really matter to you: life goals, financial goals, non-negotiable spending. It could be things happening right now, things in the future. Then the 3rd step is realignment, where we look at those 2 processes that we just did, 3-month look back, North Star goals, and we say like, where, we've been spending our money over here, does it align with this list? And if you've never done this exercise, it's literally not going to, and that's fine. That's why we're doing the exercise. Guys, real quick, I've opened up some spots in my Wealthy Parent program for busy families looking to get more clarity in their finances, find extra money each month without making more, so that they're able to put more of their hardworking money towards their financial goals and just feel like they're winning with their money. If that sounds interesting, any of that, there's a link below this video to book a call directly with me, and we could start your path to becoming a wealthy parent. I'll see you there.
So I just made a mistake that I hope none of you ever do in your lifetime.
Crap.
When I was setting up my 401k contributions, I accidentally put my 401k contributions to 90% of my paycheck. So I just got paid today, and I basically got no money in my paycheck, and it all went to my 401k. Not a big deal, but I am gonna have to find that money somewhere. So we'll figure it out.
Yeah, so that's kind of funny in a way, right? But definitely not the worst mistake you could have made. He's paying himself first, literally his future self, but he forgot to pay his current self, and that's kind of just what I was talking about, right? He's putting all his eggs into his future. I wouldn't recommend that either. Obviously, a silly little mistake, but hopefully he was able to, pay his rent or mortgage that month, pay for utilities, all that good stuff. But that was just a kind of, I guess, a little fun one. We'll move right to the next one.
Make the withdrawal out your 401k, take the PTO, and take a vacation.
Wow.
As somebody who has been investing and had a 401k mutual funds since age 21, I've been an avid component on at random taking me a loan out and taking me a nice vacation. Because the way the world going on right now, and this man with these tariffs, like 50% tariffs on China, be for real. Well, China doing that on us, but be for real. Like, the way this going, we don't need these headaches. Me personally, Friday, I saw my 401k and I immediately closed out. I lost thousands of dollars out of my 401k. Mm-hmm. Granted, I do have money in an IRA account that I put to the side, which if you're not doing, you should do. As well as I have cash reserves, high yield savings accounts, as well as look at cash on hand. But the way it's going right now,
Got it. I love that she's like framing herself as like an expert. Oh, I've been investing in mutual funds since I was 21. Oh, you should be doing this, that, the other thing. And oh, by the way, I'm struggling financially, so I got to take money out of my 401k. That was the first little note that I thought. So it was like, again, kind of like a justification, like, oh, I'm good at all this stuff, but because of XYZ thing, I'm going to point the finger. That's the reason. That's my like least favorite excuse, is like the finger point. This is why I don't watch the news, by the way. Definitely have no idea what's going on in the world. Couldn't care less, because I know that what I'm doing, I'm just focusing on me and my family and like how, like whatever. Yeah. And something like a 401k or even just broadly an investment, one, it's not a guarantee. I think we always kind of forget that. It's not a guarantee. Like, we're not guaranteed, to have crazy nice returns. Nothing's guaranteed. Everything is a risk. Any sort of investment is a risk. So the fact that people are, upset when it goes down a lot, it's like, I know, and maybe the timing isn't right. Like, maybe someone close to retirement sees that and it goes way down and that's stressful. That I can totally understand. But if I were to share my screen here, this is like just the basic S&P 500 kind of broad market. This is like a bet on the US stock market, essentially, right? So when she made this video, it was a little while ago, I think. It was in this 2025 period when it went way down, right? So we could see here the peak, February 14th. Oh, happy Valentine's Day. And then it just, the next 2 months, it just like crippled all the way down. And this is like, a lot of people panicked here in these 2 months, and they're like, oh my God, it's happening, that the world is ending. But then look, I mean, it bounces back. Like, it always bounces back. And yeah, it took like 3 months to get back to where it was, but it bounced back. And then look, there was another little blip in 2026 again, but it bounced back again, right? And if you look all time, like these blips become just like little specks on the paper, right? You could see it went up. It's been up 900% since the inception of this in 1996. So 30 years ago, it's up 900%. So again, there's definitely periods where it goes down, and pretty steeply. Like, look at this, the pandemic period here, pretty steep, right? But at the end of the day, one, investing is a risk. Two, it's likely just going to keep going up over time. So I think we just have to keep that in mind.
I cashed out my 401k savings at 23 years old. Did I have millions of dollars saved up? No, but I did use that money as a safety cushion. Back in July, I literally stood up and quit my 9-to-5 job. I was so fed up every single day, I had to make a change in my life.
Good for you.
And with me doing that came the risk of me having net zero income. So I withdrew my 401k, or at least what I could withdraw, because you can't withdraw the entire amount. I could not put 100% of my effort into something that was going to make me real passive income if I was still working that shitty 9-to-5 job. So I had to quit, but I needed the money to pay my rent for the next few months and my car payment. Look, if I have to rely on money that I've been saving saving my entire life when I'm 75, I'm a paraplegic with a bunch of health conditions, then I have done myself a disservice and I would consider myself a failure. As humans, we are quite literally programmed to think that the only way we can acquire a large sum of money is if it comes from a pension or a 401k savings account when we retire, which is fucking bullshit. And of course they want you to think this because they want you to keep working these shitty fucking jobs. I have nothing against saving or investing money for your family and your future, especially when that money is invested in an appreciating or compounding asset. But I don't see the point in having any of this if my cash flow is fucking abysmal. If you are able to increase your cash flow, the money you have coming in every single month, and somehow make that passive, you simply cannot lose. Then when you have achieved that and you have this high amount of money coming in every month, you can start making extremely smart investments that actually make fucking sense. And investments that aren't just going to benefit you when you are 75 and in the last quarter of your fucking life. When I cashed out my 401k back in July, I think it was like $4,000. That's all I could withdraw from the amount I had saved in the 401k. It was a huge risk and I had to take it. I was so fucking fed up of working my 9 to 5. There was something better for me in life and I knew that. It is now 2.5 months later and that risk has paid off. I knew it would pay off. I have almost 10 times the amount of money that I withdrew from my 401k. Think about how long it would have taken the money that I withdrew to be worth the amount of money that it's made me in a 2-month period. When I started digital marketing and I bought these courses that taught me to do this.
He's trying to sell. All right, he's trying to sell. He's trying to sell something, guys. Watch out. So, yeah, a lot of feedback there. A lot of feedback. One, I like the idea of people taking risks. This guy's 23 years old. That's the time to do it. It doesn't sound like he has kids or anything like that holding you back. So if you're going to take a risk, that's the time to do it. If I look back to when I was 23, a long time ago, I didn't take any risks at all. And I just did the same boring thing over and over and over again. And yeah, so I look back on that personally and I kind of regret that. So I understand where he is coming from for sure. But I would also say, $4,000 isn't a lot of money. I thought he was going to say he took out like 50 grand or something like that. He did make a good point where like it would have taken him a long time to get he said he made like 10x in his thing that he was trying to sell us. So like, yeah, it would have taken a lot of time to get to $40,000 in a 401k container. But the 401k container is kind of a thing that's off to the side. He was talking about cash flow, which is not a 401k. Like 401k is not cash flow. So just whatever, that's fine. And it does seem like he kind of quit his job before he had the side hustle thing like up and running. So I would definitely just, again, maybe I'm a little risk averse, but I wouldn't recommend someone just quitting their job to go all in on something that hasn't been even slightly proven to work for them. Like sometimes it takes time to build all this stuff up. So I do like the risk taking a little bit. It's not a horrible decision. It was only $4,000. Again, I thought he was going to say like $50,000 or something like that. So not horrible. But at the end of the day, I guess he made it work. So who am I to say?
It is a very bad day to be a 401k in Trump's economy. So with all of this shit going on, I saw it coming when he was doing the initial tariff dance with his tiny little hands. I took out a loan against my 401k, paid off a bunch of high interest credit cards, and booked myself a trip for 6 to 12 weeks abroad. I feel great. I also took out a couple extra thousand and put that into a high yield savings account. So I am earning there while my 401k is dropping. And unlike a personal loan, you don't have to pay the bank back. You pay yourself back plus 8% interest as opposed to like the 30% interest on credit cards or the 15% interest on a personal loan through fucking Credit Karma or whatever. So that's what I did. I feel so much better not having any fucking credit card debt, and now I have less money to lose in the 401k, so I think that's something everyone should do. Also, Airheads, best candy on earth, so
I don't know about that.
Get yourself an Airhead too while you're at it. You can afford it.
All right, so first of all, what do you guys think? Is she right? Airheads, best candy on earth? Definitely not, probably not. I really love the confidence in her message there. That was great. Couple things. One, she's trying to justify taking the 401k out. She's like, oh, paid off credit card, which, okay, maybe. Did a vacation. Oh, and I'm putting it in a high yield savings account. She's trying to justify it, right? Which, again, okay, if that makes it easier for you, that's fine. And the way she was trying to justify it was like, oh, but I'm earning money in the high yield savings as the 401k goes down. And technically, that's not wrong. The high yield savings account will have interest. Right now, it's like 3-4%, something like that. That is correct. Typically, when you're investing, that's more of a saving. The best way to save, probably, high yield savings account. But when you're investing in a 401k, that investment is largely going to be higher. And I think this video was recorded during all the the tariff stuff that was going on. So understandably, people were a little concerned when the market just crashed and everything like that. But the question you have to ask yourself is, if you're putting money into a retirement asset, like a 401k, like a Roth IRA, even some sort of brokerage account where you're like, I am doing this for the long term, you have to really ask yourself, if the shit hits the fan, am I going to keep it in here, or am I going to need to pull it out of like fear of something happening? Because that's a real conversation, because the whole point of putting it in there is so that it can do its work and compound. Compounding, it's the eighth wonder of the world, right? That's what everyone says. However, when we stop that or slow it down, it doesn't really become as effective. So when we pull it out, okay, paying off credit card debt, don't love it, but at least it's like it's something. The vacation, okay, and the high yield saving. So like, in my opinion, I'd much rather see people just keep it in there, especially if you kind of just, gave yourself a verbal word of like, hey, this is something that I'm looking to do for the future.
I'm filing for bankruptcy, and I don't think that this is going to financially ruin me as much as withdrawing from my 401k did. When I got laid off 3 years ago, I made the stupid decision to withdraw almost the entire balance of my 401k, which I had spent most of my 20s building. And for me to undo that mistake, I would have to have $30,000 magically appear. And as the years go on, that number goes up because of all of the money that it would have made itself. And it's embarrassing to admit stuff like this and to talk about the dumbest thing I've ever done with money. But I do it to be a cautionary tale so that people don't have to go through what I've gone through to learn the hard way like I did.
A great story to share. Thank you for that. And it's crazy that she said, I have been bankrupt, or I'm filing for bankruptcy, and this other thing that I did with my 401k is going to cripple me more financially. That just tells you the power of it. And again, she put a tangible number on that thing. $30,000 is what she probably would have had right now, and however old she is. And if she keeps holding on to that for years and years and years and years, like she mentioned, it's just going to keep getting higher and higher. It's going to be really hard to kind of catch up to that point. And I understand the burden that sometimes you feel like in your finances, like, oh, I'm stuck. I, have this money sitting over here. It's just going to help me. But at the end of the day, if the problem that we solve isn't the problem, the core problem, which is like, I don't know where my money's going, I don't maybe even make enough. We have to solve the core problems first before we can sort of reach for this other emergency, break glass in case of emergency kind of a situation. Because I see it too often where people will just quit too soon into figuring out what the hell is going on and how to solve it, because there are solvable ways. There is a proven system of what to do with your finances. Many, many people before us have solved this problem, and many, many more people behind us will continue to do it this way. So I just think, instead of just the easy way out, I think sometimes we have to look a little inward and say, what can I do right now to help kind of make this happen?
Because what's going on in today is causing you financial hardship. Taking money out your 401k does not make you financially illiterate. Don't let nobody tell you that. Come on and sip a little tea with Auntie. Let's talk about it. Your 401k is set up for your retirement, but you think about it. In this day and time, if the cost of gas, the cost of groceries, or anything else is costing you financial hardship, why not utilize your own money? Now, a hardship, I have to break this down, is when you are going through hard times. Something unforeseen happened, and you now need to pull money out your 401k to place yourself in a better position. That means to permanently take your money out your 401k. It is not advised for you to permanently take no money out, but there's a difference. There's something that you call a 401k loan, which, depending on where you work, you can take multiple of those loans out a year. What is a 401k loan?
Please don't take
a
multiple.
loan out for the amount that you need to relieve yourself of some troubling times that you may be having, and you pay yourself back per paycheck. For an example, you need $1,000 today. You don't want to have to borrow nothing from nobody or borrow from a loan company to where it's going to put extra money coming out your paycheck every time, big old amount. You got to pay a big amount back. Payday loan, you got to pay the whole amount back, or you got to pay $300 and some dollars back every time you get your paycheck. No. Utilize that 401k loan to where you can break it down on how many payments you want to pay. Say you want to stretch it over 24-month period, so where you ain't got no but $23 coming out your paycheck every time. $23 is better than that $300 and something having to pay it all back at one time. And then the catch 22 is you're not paying nobody else back. If it came out of your 401k as a loan, you pay yourself back. You are the lender. It's your money. You're the lender. So you're taking money from yourself, but you're also paying yourself back. And before y'all get to holler about, what about the financial gains and losses? You still will make gains and losses, because you're not going to remove all your money out your 401k. You're going to take a small portion, $1,000 loan, $1,500 loan, $2,000 loan, whatever you need to place yourself in a better position.
Okay, got it. I love the passion. I love the passion. She obviously believes that this is the correct path. So who am I to question it? But at the end of the day, she mentioned it towards the end there. You wouldn't take out the whole amount. Of course not. But then she mentioned like $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. I feel like those small amounts specifically, like we shouldn't be at a point where we even need $1,000. And I know maybe some of you are watching like, oh, but $1,000 would change my life. Maybe, but also $1,000 is not a lot. So we need to be setting ourselves up with a proper structure. And I know the reason why people dip into the 401k loan is maybe because they feel like they don't have that structure. So the first thing you do is let's work on getting an emergency fund. Look back the last 6, 9, 12 months, whatever, and just sort of think, what was the biggest expense that came out of nowhere and maybe disrupted my family's life financially? Take that number, could be $1,000, could be $2,000, could be $2,500, whatever the thing is, and start building an emergency fund up to that point. Because that's your break glass in case of an emergency. Not like your future. Because I think, here's the thing, like, people see this money sitting in an account and they're like, oh my God, I need this. But they just don't realize the power of compounding because they haven't really seen it happen. There was a famous investor who passed away recently, Charlie Munger, and he was quoted with saying that the first $100,000 is a bitch. And what he means by that is like the first $100,000 of any sort of, saving, investing vehicle, it's basically just you putting in like basically $100,000 because the compounding doesn't really happen right away. And to show you what I mean, I can just go to a simple compounding interest calculator here. Here we go. So if we were to put, let's say we had initial deposit, we're starting from 0, okay? And in like 5 years growth, we have a conservative rate of return of 8%, and we're contributing, let's just say $250 a month. So in 5 years, we've contributed $15,000 and the interest is $3,300. That's not that exciting, right? You'd probably look at that and not even think that anything was working, right? You're like, oh, what the hell? But if we do the same amount of contribution, and now $10, now you can start to see the curve of the green line. Let me just go back. You can see the curve here for 5 years, and then we look at 10 years, and this curve, this green line, shifts because the compounding is starting to be more impactful. So now we've contributed $30,000 and the total interest is $15,000. Now that's pretty interesting, right? That's pretty interesting. After 10 years, okay, the interest you've accrued is basically half of what you've put in. If we keep doing this, you'll see like that line's going to shift again, and it's even more significant. So now we've surpassed our principal. So we've invested $60,000 and our interest is $87,000, right? And you can do this all the way up. Most of the people that are making these videos are in their 30s or 40s. So let's just say you have 30 years and then boom, like obviously $372,000 isn't enough for like retirement in 30 years, right? But you get the point. Like the longer you put this in and hold on to it, the more powerful it becomes. People are bailing out down here when it's like barely anything's working. And that to me is the most frustrating part because they haven't been able to see it with their own eyes to believe it.
I think the only thing I regret in my life was cashing out my 401k to throw myself a birthday party. Like that was dumb. I didn't need to do that. I think the only thing I regret in my life was cashing out my 401k to throw myself a birthday party.
What are we doing? Birthday party? You're an adult, sir. You're an adult. I have nothing to say about that one, but if you want to see more of these TikTok reaction videos, this lady here paid off all of her credit card debt by taking out her 401k. If you want to check this one out, feel free.